Tonight on NewsWatch, March for Life. Thousands rally on Capitol Hill calling for an end to abortion.
Plus, Moscow attack. An explosion rips through the country's busiest airport, killing dozens. Who's behind it, and was it terrorism?
And economic boom, overcoming epidemics, wars, and famine. Why Africa is becoming one of the world's fastest growing economies. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. A plea to end abortion in the United States. Good evening, I'm Lee Webb.
And I'm Wendy Griffith. Pro-life advocates from around the country are in Washington to mark the 38th anniversary of Roe v. Wade. That's the Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion. Demonstrators rallied on Capitol Hill, marched to the Supreme Court, and lobbied in the halls of Congress. Charlene Israel is in Washington with tonight's top story.
The March for Life Day isn't just a day for a march. There's much more that goes on around it. Like at the Concerned Women for America headquarters in D.C., where they took the pro-life cause global with an hour-and-a-half webcast.
This webcast is to educate people on the need to defund abortion, to tell them why, and also to tell them how.
This weekend, President Obama put out a statement marking the 38th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, legalizing abortion. What he chose to call the Supreme Court decision that protects women's health and reproductive freedom. He stated, "I am committed to protecting this constitutional right." There are hundreds of congressmen, though, committed to making sure no taxpayer money pays for those abortions. Some showed up for the CWA webcast.
It's the Pitts-Lipinski bill, and we've introduced another bill, the Smith-Lipinski bill, that would ban government-wide of abortion. So it's a two-pronged attack, if you will.
Since congressmen tend to wobble, though, several of these CWA women headed from headquarters up to Capitol Hill to do pro-life lobbying in the very halls of Congress.
Today we hope to educate and inform our legislators that there are two bills being introduced that would prevent funding of abortion using taxpayer dollars, not only on the U.S. level, but on the international level.
This is work and war for life that's gone on for decades now, and many young people here at the Rally for Life realize it's time for them to step up and carry on the fight.
I think that everyone should have a chance at life, and a parent shouldn't have to decide if a baby should die or live.
Charlene Israel, CBN News, Washington.
And as we mentioned earlier, today's events ended with a march to the U.S. Supreme Court. Paul Strand is there and spent the day talking with people who attended that rally. Paul, what's the overall message they're trying to send?
Well, Lee, this is right after the 2010 election, and people would have you believe that that was all about economics and jobs. But the thing to remember, like the Tea Party contingent is also very largely pro-life. That's what these people are, the most pro-life people in the country. They're very happy that the Republicans are here in the House and that they're trying to make sure there's no taxpayer funding for abortion. And another main theme I got here was that the fact that the young are moving in, that they're taking over the movement as they're starting to grow up now. They say these are the kids who actually were open prey in the womb. They're the survivors of Roe v. Wade. So they have a very personal stake in this, and they're moving in and taking leadership positions across the pro-life movement now.
Yeah, and we're hearing that a majority of young people are pro-life. Paul, how was the turnout?
Turnout was pretty amazing. The march started about 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's a little after 4 now, and they just finished the march up here to the Supreme Court. So enough people that for 2 solid hours, they filled the 7 blocks between where the march started and here at the Supreme Court. So a pretty massive crowd. I wouldn't know the numbers, but I would bet probably over 100,000.
Committed protesters on a chilly day in Washington, D.C. Paul, we thank you as well.
Thank you.
New documents show Palestinian leaders were willing to make more concessions to Israel than their people wanted. Now, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas is feeling the heat. Al Jazeera and the British Guardian newspaper released the documents. They cover several years of Mideast peace talks. Chris Mitchell has that story from Jerusalem.
They're calling it PallyLeaks, the latest revelations of secret diplomatic documents, this time about the Israeli-Palestinian negotiating process.
I think that it's a sabotage from within the Palestinian Authority. Somebody who wanted to inflict damage on Abu Mazen, and the negotiation team leaked it to Al Jazeera for this reason or another.
Unrelated to WikiLeaks, The Palestine Papers allegedly show the scale of proposed Palestinian concessions to the Israelis, including on the right of return for Palestinian refugees and PA cooperation with Israel in its war against Hamas in Gaza 2 years ago. But most shockingly, a readiness to compromise on Jerusalem and even the Temple Mount. Palestinian affairs expert Pinchas Inbari has been reading the original documents. He told CBN News the way Al Jazeera presented the information positioned Abbas against Palestinian icon Yasser Arafat.
Al Jazeera put it in a way that they betrayed Arafat's legacy. In all points that Arafat refused to negotiate or to give in to the Israelis, they were ready to go ahead with.
Chief Palestinian negotiator Saeb Erekat said Abbas had refused to make far-reaching land deals in Jerusalem. The PA claimed Al Jazeera had declared war on the Palestinians. One of the immediate damages to the PA, Inbari said, is that while they are in the middle of a campaign to delegitimize Israel, they themselves are now being delegitimized. These leaks could be the last nail in the coffin of Israeli-Palestinian peace talks. As Inbari put it, it's the end of secret diplomacy. From now on, there's no more double talk. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
An explosion ripped through a Moscow airport today, killing at least 35 people and injuring up to 180 others. The blast went off in the international arrivals section of that major airport. The Russian president is calling it a terror attack. CBN News terrorism analyst Eric Stakelback is following the story for us from Washington. Eric, what have you learned about this explosion?
Well, Lee, first things first, who was behind this attack? And now Russian officials are saying that they found, literally, Lee, a severed head in the airport of the man they believe was the bomber. Now, he was an Arab man and between the ages of 30 and 35. Now, he was carrying a suitcase, Lee, that onlookers said ignited that huge explosion. When this explosion went off, it also released shrapnel, ball bearings, screws for maximum damage, Lee. So if the blast didn't get you, the shrapnel, the screws that the bombers put into this bomb might have gotten you. Now, Russian President Dmitry Medvedev had scheduled the Davos Economic Summit. He's postponed that, and he's meeting with his top security officials right now in Moscow, Lee. And President Obama has already come out and strongly condemned this attack.
You said that this man was Arab. That's interesting because most of the terror attacks in Russia before have been carried out by Chechen separatists.
Yes, Lee, and the interesting thing here is that Chechen separatist jihadists there have close ties with Arab militants as well. We have a number of Arab Islamic jihadists have set up shop in Chechnya. They've been there for about 15 years now, Lee. A lot of Saudis in Chechnya providing guidance, both religious guidance in terms of jihad, but also bomb making and guidance on that end. So in a number of these Chechen jihad attacks, terrorist attacks over the years, we have seen, if not Arab direct involvement, Arab oversight.
Eric, in the time we have left here, I understand this Moscow airport, the major airport in Moscow, has had serious security problems. Tell us about that.
Lee, it has. Domodedovo Airport is Moscow's largest, and something like several million people move through there on a daily basis. And basically, Lee, back in 2004, 2 suicide bombers were able to board a plane in that airport, take down 2 Russian planes. So there is a continuing concern about security at that airport. And we know these Chechen terrorists love to target mass transit and airplanes.
Eric, thanks for your update on this story.
Thank you, Lee.
Well, it's been 2 months since the historic midterm election that ushered in a new wave of Republicans to Congress. Tomorrow, when President Obama delivers his State of the Union speech, those new members will be listening to his words carefully, especially when it comes to spending. White House correspondent Jennifer Wishon has a preview.
The President of the United States.
When the president enters the House chamber Tuesday night, he'll face a very different-looking Congress. For the first time in his administration, a Republican speaker will sit behind him.
My number one focus is going to be making sure that we are competitive, that we are growing, and we are creating jobs, not just now, but well into the future.
The president also says he'll focus on investing in education, technology, and research, something that worries Republicans.
We want to cut and grow, because when we hear invest from anyone in Washington, to me that means more spending.
To get Democrats on the record on spending before the president's speech, House Republicans are pushing a non-binding resolution that returns federal spending levels to those of 2008 on non-defense related items. In the wake of the shootings in Tucson, some lawmakers will literally cross the aisle and sit with members of the opposite party. For example, Democrat Senator Dick Durbin is sitting with Republican Senator Mark Kirk.
I'm bringing the popcorn, he's bringing a Coke with 2 straws.
The shootings appear to have genuinely changed the tone in Washington, even if it's only temporary. The president's former opponent, Senator John McCain, says he thinks there are a number of areas where the two can at least find common ground. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, the White House.
Coming up, flash freeze, the deadly cold snap gripping the Northeast and setting records around the country.
Attention investors, now is the time to protect your retirement accounts and investments. Excessive government spending is devaluing the US dollar and high rates of inflation are coming. Gold has tripled since 2001, and some experts predict the prices will climb another 100%. Buy gold now, direct and wholesale with United Gold Group. The demand for gold around the world is higher than ever. Foreign countries like China and India are buying up gold at record rates. Why? What do they know that you don't?
Call now and get your Gold Investors Kit absolutely free. Call in the next 5 minutes and receive The Secret to Owning Gold in Your Retirement Account, also absolutely free. Just call 1-800-758-5070. That's 1-800-758-5070.
This could be the most important call you make this year. United Gold Group, investing in America's future.
Don't just cash in those old coins. You may have valuable rare collectible coins and not even know it.
Hi, I'm Jim Fisher, numismatist and TV coin expert for over 20 years. Introducing the Art of Collecting Coins DVD set. The DVD set that shares the secrets of coin collecting and investment and shows you how the pros really make money.
The Art of Collecting Coins DVD features 4 of the most knowledgeable coin experts in the world, and they tell you the secrets only the pros know on how to make money collecting and investing in rare coins. The Art of Collecting Coins DVD set includes over 2.5 hours of detailed information, history, and recommendations for using coin collecting as a stabilizing addition to your financial portfolio. Take the opportunity now by ordering the DVD set, The Art of Collecting Coins.
Now you can learn the value of collecting coins and how to do it right.
Now get The Art of Collecting Coins DVD set absolutely free. But that's not all. We will also include How to Make Money Collecting Coins absolutely free. To get your free DVD, The Art of Collecting Coins, and bonus DVD, How to Make Money Collecting Coins, call 1-888-559-6777 or visit coincollectordvd.com.
Egypt's top security official says Gaza militants are to blame for the deadly suicide bombing outside a Coptic Christian church on New Year's Day. The attack killed 21 people and sparked 3 days of angry protests from Christians in Cairo and several other cities. Egypt's interior minister says there is conclusive evidence showing the Army of Islam was behind it. Terror experts say the attack bears the imprint of an al-Qaeda-style attack.
An Iraqi immigrant accused of murdering his own daughter in a so-called honor killing is headed to trial in Arizona. Authorities say Falah al-Maleki ran over his 20-year-old daughter and her boyfriend's mother with his Jeep. He said it was because his daughter had become too westernized. Honor killings take place in some Middle Eastern cultures when daughters are accused of bringing shame to their families.
Stronger support for military families is on the way. President Obama announced today new steps aimed at enhancing the physical and psychological health of military family members. Several government agencies will participate in the efforts. They'll create programs to enhance education for military children, career opportunities for spouses, and provide child care during work hours. The goal is to create opportunities, prevent suicide, and eliminate homelessness.
Billy Graham tells Christianity Today that if he had it to do over again, he would steer clear of politics. Graham ministered personally to every president from Harry Truman to the Bush family and recently met with President Obama. Reverend Graham said people in power have spiritual and personal needs like everyone else, and often they have no one to talk to. But looking back, I know sometimes I crossed the line and wouldn't do that now. The 92-year-old evangelist also told Christianity Today he wished he had spent more time with his family, studied more, and preached less.
Interesting. Well, bone-chilling cold is gripping the Northeast. Many schools in the area are closed today to protect students from the freezing temperatures. Parts of New England dropped to 25 degrees below zero, and the wind chill felt like 50 below. The cold is being linked to at least 2 deaths. Ephraim Graham has that story.
I have worn long johns, 2 sweaters, 2 scarves, and a blanket.
New York is enduring its coldest temperatures in 6 years. Boston may drop below zero for the first time since 2005. In Minneapolis, some homeless have had to go to an overflow shelter. And in Michigan, this thermometer reads more than 30 below zero.
Girl Scout cookies.
The weather is not record-breaking, but it is challenging, and authorities warn it can be dangerous.
People get acclimated to living in a situation like this. They don't realize the difference between, 20 degrees above and 20 degrees below zero, and just how lethal that can be.
Massachusetts elementary school principals have been advised to hold recess inside today, and homeless shelters are extending their hours. But there is reason for hope. Temperatures in Chicago are expected to hit the 20s this week. Ephraim Graham, CBN News.
Up next, Africa's economic boom. Why the continent is on the fast track for financial success.
CBNNews.com. News you want, when you want, 24/7. Stay current with up-to-the-minute stories.
David Brody, CBN News, Capitol Hill.
I don't have to wait for my news anymore. CBNNews.com, at your fingertips all day long.
I only watch the stories I want to see.
I find the story, I click on it, and boom, I'm there.
I'm Chris Mitchell, reporting from Jerusalem.
The source for your news, CBNNews.com.
Attention investors, now is the time to protect your retirement accounts and investments. Excessive government spending is devaluing the US dollar, and high rates of inflation are coming. Gold has tripled since 2001, and some experts predict the prices will climb another 100%. Buy gold now, direct and wholesale with United Gold Group. The demand for gold around the world is higher than ever. Foreign countries like China and India are buying up gold at record rates. Why? What do they know that you don't?
Call now and get your Gold Investors Kit absolutely free. Call in the next 5 minutes and receive The Secret to Owning Gold in Your Retirement Account, also absolutely free. Just call 1-800-758-5070. That's 1-800-758-5070.
This could be the most important call you make this year. United Gold Group, investing in America's future.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, call now for a new pain-free meter. These new meters are more accurate, they're easier to use, and the best news is you don't have to prick your fingers anymore. Call now, and Arriva Medical will send you one of these new meters for free. And if you have Medicare, your testing supplies may also be covered. Arriva makes it simple. They bill Medicare directly. There are no upfront costs, and they deliver your supplies right to your door for free. With these new meters, there's no coding, you don't have to prick your fingers, and some of these meters even talk.
Your blood glucose reading is 122.
And if you call 1-800-284-9762, we will send you a free Betty Crocker Diabetes Cookbook filled with delicious recipes.
Call Arriva today. You'd be glad you did.
It is a continent with 54 countries and close to 1 billion people.
And although most people don't realize it, Africa is becoming one of the world's greatest economic success stories. George Thomas has tonight's Focus Report from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Ubuntu. It's a well-known saying here in parts of southern Africa. It means I am what I am because of who we all are.
And who we all are a people yearning to make our lives better and to work together with the rest of the world.
And Africans increasingly want to play a role in that world. Today across Africa, the power of Ubuntu is giving millions of people hope about the future of their continent.
I do believe that Africa is a rising continent.
People working together to lift their nations from the ashes of war, famine, death, disease, AIDS, and corruption.
And what gives you the optimism?
I suppose the will of the people to actually be stronger, and to do something and to make it better.
Surveys show there are few corners of this vast land where optimism, especially among young people, isn't rising.
It's true that Africa does face many problems, but I think that it's not insurmountable. I think that there is a lot of hope for the youth that we as a continent can pull through.
From the International Monetary Fund to the World Bank to influential business magazines, experts point to a vibrant and changing Africa. Some even liken it to an African renaissance.
It's growing. It's growing. It's going to be like the same as the other countries, the other top countries soon.
This year, 8 of the 20 fastest growing economies in the world will hail from Africa. The continent's overall economy is expected to grow in the years to come at a rapid rate of 5 to 8% annually.
Certainly, I think in the next 10 to 15 years, given the GDP estimates of Africa, the population and the services available, it certainly could be a place to invest your money.
George Nichols runs a multi-million-dollar consultancy group out of Johannesburg, South Africa. He says much of Africa's growth is fueled by an exploding middle class. That number's around 400 million and climbing.
A lot of domestic spend goes on mobile phones, a lot of domestic spend goes on beverages and alcohol, staple foods. And outside of that, where you see the growth now is actually in banking services. So cell phones and telecommunications are brought banking to Africa. And once you bring banking to people, businesses start to flourish.
And this is the new Africa story, a continent that is consuming like never before on shopping malls that are sprouting up all over the place. People buying cell phone technology, opening up bank accounts, buying homes, cars, food, clothes. You really get a sense that Africa is finally moving ahead.
The World Bank says up to 40% of the gross domestic product of some of the largest African economies is fueled by the service sector.
And you have disposable income now to spend?
Yes.
Yeah. And
yeah,
do you
I work now, I'm currently employed and I'm happy with my job.
Do you worry about debt?
No, I'm 16. I think that's my parents' job.
Good answer.
One gets the sense that there is a lot of excitement about Africa. Africa's time has come.
Trevor Ngube is a successful Zimbabwean media mogul. He owns several leading newspapers and other business enterprises across the continent. He's thrilled that Africa is now the third fastest growing economic region in the world after Asia and the Middle East.
Seeing my generation, and more so our children and people younger than me, who are passionate about the continent, who see this being the place that the whole world is going to stand up and pay attention to in the next 20, 30, 40 years to come.
Nikki Newton-King is preparing for it. She helps run one of the largest stock exchanges in Africa. King says investors, both inside and outside the continent, are looking for ways to play Africa.
I think that whole emerging market appetite is ticking up. I think Africa is the undiscovered continent and the undiscovered emerging market.
Are there still serious problems plaguing the continent? Absolutely. Africa faces new challenges every day, and experts say investors should be prepared for the long haul.
People must understand that investing in Africa is not for sissies. People must understand that there are going to be risks, and they need to understand the nature of those risks.
But if the trends continue, Africa will play an increasingly important role in the world, and perhaps too as a strategic and vital engine of the global economy. George Thomas, CBN News in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Up next, random acts of competition. The man who holds the Guinness Book of World Records for world records.
Attention investors, now is the time to protect your retirement accounts and investments. Excessive government spending is devaluing the US dollar and high rates of inflation are coming. Gold has tripled since 2001, and some experts predict the prices will climb another 100%. Buy gold now, direct and wholesale with United Gold Group. The demand for gold around the world is higher than ever. Foreign countries like China and India are buying up gold at record rates. Why? What do they know that you don't?
Call now and get your Gold Investors Kit absolutely free. Call in the next 5 minutes and receive The Secret to Owning Gold in Your Retirement Account, also absolutely free. Just call 1-800-758-5070. That's 1-800-758-5070.
This could be the most important call you make this year. United Gold Group, investing in America's future.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, call now for a new pain-free meter. These new meters are more accurate, they're easier to use, and the best news is you don't have to prick your fingers anymore. Call now, and Arriva Medical will send you one of these new meters for free. And if you have Medicare, your testing supplies may also be covered. Arriva makes it simple. They bill Medicare directly. There are no upfront costs. And they deliver your supplies right to your door for free. With these new meters, there's no coding, you don't have to prick your fingers, and some of these meters even talk.
Your blood glucose reading is 122.
And if you call 1-800-284-9762, we will send you a free Betty Crocker Diabetes Cookbook filled with delicious recipes.
Call Arriva today. You'd be glad you did.
Well, success in competitive sports takes drive and determination.
Yeah, but that can also be said for pogo sticking, hula hooping, and yes, even yak racing. Well, meet Ashrita Furman. He's dedicated his life to compete for the Guinness Book of World Records in world records, from running with a baseball bat on one finger to running with cans strapped to his feet to even racing a yak while running in a sack. That sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. Furman set 350 records around the world so far.
I saw there was a record. I said, wow, that looks kind of interesting. The point is challenge. Okay, it's something silly, but you're the best in the world in it. That's what I live for, basically.
All right.
Look at that.
Look at that, yeah. He's pretty good. He's pretty athletic. Well,
Yeah.
Furman has no sponsors or endorsements and doesn't even make money off his records. Next month, he'll try to walk the farthest distance while bouncing a golf ball off his club. And there you see him doing it.
That's hard to do.
And he was doing it, though. Yeah.
I was lucky to do it twice. My son is pretty good at that, but
Yeah.
well, obviously he has a lot of time and a lot of money to be able to, go around the world and do things like that.
Looks like he's going to get famous from it, too.
Yeah.
Well, that's all for this edition of Newswatch.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.